real quick, can y'all tell me, do you just see the presentation or do you see other things on my screen as well? Is it just the presentation?
It's just the presentation.
Okay. All right, perfect. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And if anyone, joins in the meantime, I'll catch them up or they can watch um the recording. So, peace everyone. My name is Tyler. And we're going to be doing a 2024 Mindset Quantum Leap. I am actually really excited for this because I definitely want to do this leap myself. And I was going to do it myself, and I decided to just have it be a collective thing. So I'm happy that you all were able to make it today, even with the rescheduled date. So I do appreciate you. And I am going to go ahead and let me see. Okay. So I know, Manaya, you don't, am I saying your name right?
Yes, you said it right.
Okay. Yes, I know you, don't know much about me. Deja, that's my cousin. So, but I'm gonna, just give a little bit of background about the quantum leaps that I've been through. I guess we'll say from 2022 to this year, because this year was a major one. I didn't realize that I was even transitioning into a different version of myself from because it wasn't anything intentional. It just honestly really happened. So I would say like 2022, the energy that I had was completely different than the energy that I had this year. I was still kind of in my hermit phase, not really wanting to be in a community or not really wanting to like create relationships or, really just focus on business and just personal self development. And that's it. And then last year I actually ended up moving out of the country, which was an amazing, leap that I took. Definitely was a leap of faith. And that journey, along with, all the other leaps that I've, experienced unintentionally, um, when I got back from Costa Rica, I immediately shifted into a different mindset. I went to Costa Rica with the mindset of, again, just it being completely individualized, like not wanting a community, not even wanting a business that allowed me um, to service people. Like I did not want to be of service to people at all. Like I was like, I don't want to be around people. And I also wasn't really making certain steps towards the actual life that I wanted, although I kind of was in a way, but I just don't feel like I wasn't as intentional. So 2023 comes along and I moved back home to New Jersey from Costa Rica. And immediately, I don't know where the energy came from, but I literally completely shifted into wanting that sense of community and being around people and being of service to people. It was literally like I can't even explain it. It was literally just like my mind was like, okay, we're ready, to make that shift and not be on this journey, I guess myself. So that was one of the first things that I noticed about the energy this year. And then from that, I began to just be a little bit more intentional about the way that I wanted to live my life. So I, started doing hobbies that I wanted to do. So I started aerial yoga. I also started taking up Pilates. These are things that the future version of myself was doing. So I decided to do those things as well as, create more friendships and be more present on social media versus, only, I guess, showing half of, myself, which I still kind of was doing up until this point, but a lot of shifts, right? So with those came a lot of different mindsets that I had with it. And that allowed me to kind of also formulate um, some particular mindsets and actually implement them. So I've seen how implementing these things could actually affects positively in my life. Although the reason why I'm wanting to do a shift is because I want to change the frequency of everything that I aligned with this year. So that's one of my reasons for wanting to do another quantum leap. Everything that I've learned this year, just literally creating more abundance in those areas for next year. So that's the simple term. But I want to kind of get into what a quantum leap is, right? Because a lot of people think that quantum leaps are a little complex when it's literally just simply a mindset shift. So let's see. Okay. So uh, actually, I'm just going to skip this the one. Okay, so this is my interpretation of what a quantum leap is. I know people may have like a different interpretation, but this was mine. So it's how I interpret it is it's basically a literal transformation without navigating through the traverse of the in-between state. And immediately just embodying a transformation that you want to see within yourself without hesitation. So it is basically like getting rid of any limiting beliefs are um, that are holding you back, right? Immediately, just recognizing what they are and putting them out of your frame or your world, things like that. Um, Also like not taking action on the things that you want to do, delaying yourself, talking yourself out of things, and just basically doing all the things that are holding you back from literally leaping or jumping into that version of yourself that you want to be. So that is my interpretation of a quantum leap, and that's kind of how I formulated the the promptings and things like that you all are going to be working on tonight. Now, I did mean to say that is going to be something that's going to be done on your own time because I know Manaya, you said that you started yours already, but that everything is going to basically be done on your own time tonight. So that tomorrow, when we come back, we are going to be focusing on the new versions of ourselves that we're going to conjure up. I wanted to do this into 2 days just for like the accountability of making sure that we get this done because the new year is literally here. And now we can go to this slide. And we are also Jupiter is actually going direct tomorrow. So this is like the perfect time to solidify the versions of ourselves that we want to leap into because it's going to be in Taurus and it's going to provide us with some stability to map out the versions of ourselves and the goals and the things like that that we want to do for next year. So I'm really excited about that energy that's going to be assisting us. Hey, Flo. All right. So, okay. So the 2-day event, this is going to be day one, which is going to be the PDF that you all had received. So this is what you're going to work on tonight, as well as the meditation as well. Or you don't have to do it tonight. Maybe you can do it tomorrow before before we have the next session, which is going to also be at 7 o'clock as well. But day one, the journal promptings or everything that we're going to be focusing on tonight when we are, in our zone, saying goodbye to our old selves on paper and just reliving that energy for the last time, hopefully. It's going to be a lot of like reflecting on the journey that we've had so far in the current year. Depending on the type of leap that you want to do, if you're focusing only on a transformation from last year, then you can just focus on the energies of last year. If you're trying to focus on, maybe there are things that you've been doing for a few years and you literally want to get out of those energies, you can also focus on that. So it kind of depends on the way that you want your year to be. And then it also depends on the theme of your year. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. Um, so it's about reflection, expressing gratitude for that version of yourself, for everything that it has done, the lessons that they've learned, the perseverance that they went through, all the efforts that they did to get you to where you are right now. And then it's just simply acknowledging that it's time for a shift, right? It's time to be different versions of ourselves because the frequency that we're on right now, we notice that there needs to be a change that happens in order for us to, get abundant in all areas of our lives, or just, transform in ways that we actually want to physically see. And then it's about letting go, right? Letting go of everything that version of us that we no longer want to take with us. So again, it's those, those limits and beliefs, the fears, the future. We're going to basically try to limit the future regrets by taking the actions that our intuition and that we feel prompted to do, versus being in a state of, dang, I wish I would have, done this. I wish I would have acted this way, um, because I could have avoided this, or, the situation turns out exactly how I thought it would. And I could have avoided that if I just simply did what I said I was going to do, or did what I felt called to do. So those are going to be some things that, we're letting go and we're no longer going to be doing. And then it's also just about showing encouragement to that version of yourself, for the support and everything that they've done so far. And just acknowledging that, right? Because we don't want to take that away from everything that we've done so far, but also understanding that, again, we're just trying to shift the frequency of things. So we have to do things a little bit differently. So when you're doing your letter tonight, just remember, you can follow the prompts as, a way to guide you, but also remember, like, if you do start to write, let everything pour out, whatever type of emotions that may come up, because, you're basically reliving the things that you no longer want to implement. So, sometimes that could bring up emotions. So just allow that to happen, and allow the letter to flow. And then from there, we are basically going to do a meditation. So, does anyone have any questions so far? Am I going too fast? Or does everybody understand the concept of the quantum leap so far?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, let me, I think I want to pull up the actual PDF. If I can, I gotta share. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if you um, have gotten a chance to look, these are all the prompts. These are all suggestive. Again, just giving you a kind of a direction of some things you may want to put into your letter, or your, bullet points and things like that. However, you feel called to actually do the leap. And so after you do your letter, we're basically going to meditate on the letter, right? Do a reflective meditation. And again, allow whatever emotions come up, whatever thoughts come up, and making sure that we set the intention energetically to begin a shift, right? So if you sit there and have a conversation with your higher self, just let them know, like, look, it's time. And, like, talk to yourself and tell yourself the things that that you might have written in your letter. Or you can just sit there and simply meditate, right? Meditate and visualize all of the things that have gotten you to where you are right now. And then allowing that energy to set in. And then from there, that's where we're going to go into day 2. So have you all, like, done a meditation before where you basically try to merge with yourself, like visualize yourself merging with a future version of yourself?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. So that's always fun. I kind of love those because sometimes I visualize all the things and they show up so fast, like movie flashes and things like that. And yeah, that's one of my favorite parts. So we're gonna take that same energy and do it with the meditation for tonight, but basically doing that with the past, right? Like having an awareness of all the things that you've done and you've gone through and that you did that no longer serve you, right? Maybe you'll get a flashback to a moment this year um that just didn't serve you, right? And you could have probably made a better decision. Lean into that. Whatever visions and things come up, literally lean into them and then allow yourself to feel whatever emotion comes with that, right? Maybe you feel like guilty, or maybe you feel like, dang, like, I should have done this or I should have done that. Lean into all of that. You want to lean into all of that because we're going to be releasing that on day 2. Did somebody? Oh, I think that was, oh, your mic. Okay. So I want us to really quickly, um, let me see. Um, okay, I want us to really quickly go to the link that I sent because this is going to be, this may also help us in our leap as far as knowing the personal year that we're each going to individually be in next year. So it should be in the chat for you all to pull up. And I am going to need your cooperation during this part since it's not that many of us on here. um, hey, hey. Sorry, I had just saw that. But yes, everyone go to the link here. I'm gonna actually pull mine up too. And so what this is going to give us is it's going to give us, do you all know the concept of numerology with the personal year? I know Flo, you may know.
The concept of what?
Like your personal year number. For,
Is that when you add your birthday and the current year? Is that
yeah. Mm-hmm.
okay? Okay, yeah.
Yep. So we are going to use this to see what energy we were in for 2023 and kind of see if it was in alignment with us. And then we're going to see what energy 2024 is going to bring. And then when we are, the reason why I'm doing that today is so that when we go ahead and reflect, we could probably use that information to add into our letter. And then for tomorrow, we could use the energy of the new year to add into our letter, right? So I'm gonna go, like, do you guys have it pulled up on your end?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Yep, I
Okay.
do.
All right, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in my information. So let's all do that. And April. Okay. And so once you put in your birthday and then you put in your birth month, it's going to pull up the energies that of the personal years that you were in. So for me, mine was personal year 4. And I've read this earlier, obviously. So I know that when I read personal year 4, that my year definitely did embody this energy. I talked a little bit, well, I didn't talk too much about it, but I did talk about um, how I've, gone through a shift, and it was a lot more things within that shift that I didn't really mention, but a lot of it did have to deal with enhancing um, my future and particular resources, right? I think all of the resources that I was coming into or formulating for myself, they were all mental resources. So I've learned I learned human design, and then I got a little bit more into astrology. So to me, that's a resource, right? It's a resource that I'm going to be able to use in my life moving forward because I'm learning these things. I definitely had to pay attention to a lot of the details in my life, right? This was the year that I finally created daily routines for myself. I have been struggling to do that for years, and I finally was able to do that. So I have this thing where I meditate twice a day, right? Where I don't sleep with my phone in my room anymore. All these things that I've always wanted to do, finally began to implement them. And that is going to help me set the foundations that I need for the future. So that was energy that I embodied. As well as let's see, I think mine is establishing like personal goals, which I feel like I've done because spiritually I've evolved a lot this year. And then, yeah, I think that that's pretty much it. So, did you guys pull up your number, and did you want to share like what your current year was about and how it's like if you can kind of see how it showed up in your life based on what you've just read?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
We're doing this for next year, like 2024, or we're doing this for the year that just passed?
Oh, so right now I'm talking about the year that just passed, but this does give us both.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh. So this gives us 2024, which I was in my personal year number 4, and then it gives me
Gotcha.
2024, which will be personal year 5 for me.
Okay, so I need to recalculate mine.
Oh, did you go to the right one? Because I think it was a few or um
To the right website?
no, I'm sorry. I think I meant to say the right, because I think it's a few where you put your information in, but it's the first one that says personal year on the link that I sent. If anyone has theirs up and they would like to share, they can.
Okay, I'll go. I also have personal year 4. Um, and you already know this applies to me, but in a different way
Mhm.
because it was focus, work, discipline, and opportunities to enhance the future. And you already know I spent my year trying to find another job, and that was pretty much my main focus was getting out of the situation that I was in
Mm,
and securing another job that would help me with the future. So the focus, the work, and the discipline part definitely relates to me.
nice. Perfect. So that's why I really love like looking at these now, because especially like us being able to once we do our quantum leap and conjure up the future versions of ourselves, being able to know what energy we're going to be in for next year helps us so much. And I'll talk about that another time. But yeah. Anyone else?
I'll go. So I had personal year number 5, and to break it down a little bit, it says basically you wanting to try new opportunities and tend to manifest in response to the year's broader fields of interest and activity. It
Mm,
also says there tends to be an inner push to go do something, anything, so long as it's a new experience and an expression of the sense of personal freedom. And I can definitely align with that. I feel like this year has been, I've like, just the whole year, I've been wanting to kind of just break out of my old ways and just try something new and really kind to start to walk in my own personal freedom instead of what others feel like I should be doing. And I
mhm.
can say I've really just kind of been everywhere with it. So it's not like no set of new things. It's kind of like I want to try this, I want to figure out this to see what it is that really aligns with me.
Nice. I love that. And that's, as you can see, my energy for next year. Deja, that's going to be your energy for next year. So we all
Yep,
like,
I'm excited.
yes. And it's also about traveling and moving. And what's so interesting about that is for me, all year, I've just been getting promptings for this one particular place, right? And it just kept coming up all year. And then I'm like, oh, next year is talking about me maybe moving. And y'all know me. If but now you might not know me, but I get up and go. Okay. Once the
Man.
is there, I don't play. I'm like, it's time to go. So I'm definitely excited for next year's energy. I believe that that is going to be something good, and that it's so beautiful how it showed up in your life and how it relates. So that's awesome. Flo, did you want to
Yes.
share as well?
Yeah, actually my personal year this year was a 5 as well. Um Definitely felt that energy. Actually, this is kind of making me feel a little bit better because I was definitely also everywhere with it.
Mhm.
Um, to the point where like I was just like, oh my God, I feel directionless, like what's going on? But also
Mhm.
embracing like it was like I was loving it, but also feeling directionless at the same time. So it
Mhm,
was just like a lot of different experiences and it was a gamut of experiences. I feel like new experiences could be positive or quote unquote negative, right? So I had a lot of new experiences that were uncomfortable and a lot of new experiences that were catalysts and catapults into exploring different things and also like giving myself permission,
mhm,
to break out and to experience these new things and not have to stay in the paradigm that like everybody else was expecting for me, that I
mhm,
was kind of taking on that energy and I really was just kind of like, no, like I want to be here. I want to try this. I want to hang out with these people. I want to go to this place. Like I don't really care. Um, so it's like reading this now, it's just kind of like, wow, like this was really all in alignment the whole time. So
mhm.
um it's like reassuring, I guess, maybe for lack of a better word. So I'm interested to see what next year's gonna be because I feel like now, as opposed to like having doubt about what's happening,
Mhm.
it's like now we can go into 2024 and be like, oh, okay, like this is what's going on, and we are exactly what we're supposed to be doing, exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. Like y'all, yeah, definitely.
I love it.
Yeah, and then so that's so funny. It's like we have, yeah, we're all right behind each other. So I know everything that us personal year fours had to work through today, that discipline, making sure we're establishing things for our future, all of that energy we get to use, right? All of the experiences that you all had this year, just being all over the place, you tried different things. Now you probably know, okay, what you like or what you want to implement for the next year. So we get to, use this information, right? So we get to use this information. So use the information, so use the energy of number 4 and 5 for each of us when we're also doing our leap as well. So if you're doing it based on the year, this is really, really good to help implement, right? Because you can be able to release the energies that were associated with your personal year, because once you begin to transmute them, it's going to literally flow into how it's supposed to be for the next year. So I personally love this, and I can't wait to start mapping out what I want my year to look like. So this was fun. This was nice, and it's really nice to see how we all embodied the energy. So this is just more proof to me, if I need proof every day, right, or don't need proof every day, that astrology, numerology, all the different tools and things like that that we have, all the resources that we have are literally here to help us and to guide us, so that we don't feel when we're going through the experiences like, what the heck is happening? Why is this happening? It's like, here's numerology, here's astrology, here's human design. It's telling you why it's happening. And that'll allow us to be able to let go a little bit more, right? And not stay so focused on oh, it's happening to me and not for me. Although, we all know the concept, but sometimes we, have moments where we may stay in that energy a little too long, right? Um, so yeah, um, I if you are going to do your leap tonight, um, If you have any questions, now would be the time to ask, because I'm just going to probably go through one more thing and then we are going to wrap up. So, does anyone have any questions about the leap or, anything like that?
I had a question.
Mhm.
So for tonight, is it mainly about us really like reflecting on this year and just going into next year?
So right now, for the first day, we're only reflecting on the year. Or, if
Okay.
you want to reflect a little bit further than that, you can.
Mm.
But we're only reflecting on the now, the current, um,
Okay.
the current things that we are no longer doing. So actually, let me pull up the PDF and kind of explain it a little bit more with the prompts. So so what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna so I broke it down into like three different sections of ideas that you can formulate in your letter. So your
Mhm.
everything that's here, it's past tense. So when you're writing it, you're not going to write as if the energy is happening, but as it already has happened, right? So in
Okay.
this case of I'm grateful that I'm grateful for the personal growth that I've had this year. Talk about the challenges and the obstacles that you might have had, like your main things. Um, and also talk about, what was a success for you, what probably wasn't, the mindset that you had, right? So it's literally just putting everything out on paper without no judgment and without trying to shift the narrative, but making it as though it is what it is type of energy, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Because once we begin tomorrow with their journal prompting, it's going to be all new energy. So tonight we just literally focus on all of the old energy that we want to release and how it made us feel, how it makes us feel in the moment, knowing that we're about to release this energy. And then, celebrating whatever notable mentions and awakenings that we've had for the year or, in general, because I know I've had a lot of awakenings this a lot. So for example, for me, I'm going to focus on the energy that because Neptune did a lot. It brought up limits and beliefs that I didn't know that I had, right? So I'm going to be saying goodbye to those. It
Mhm.
brought up what else did it bring up? Oh, it brought up childhood traumas that I didn't even realize that I had that were spilling into my life freaking the whole entire time, right? So that's going to be
Mhm.
energy that I'm going to be releasing. um Also energy of a mindset that doesn't connect with me anymore, right? Being scared to show myself more, um or being not valuing myself, right? Just putting all of
Mhm.
that on paper.
Okay.
Yes. And then show gratitude for all of that, and how far you've come. And then you can close it out, as and then you can close out. So you do have the option of burning it. You can burn it or you can keep it, right? So, but for me personally, if I like was to keep it, I would also make sure that I do it right behind, because I mean obviously we're doing it day, right? Sorry, my throat chakras, I don't know what's going on. But obviously, we'll be doing the quantum leap back to back. So we'll just have the promptings behind each other. So it's like if you go to read the energy that you was in, you'll have the new entry to see how you've already implemented the energies of the shift, right? Because we're speaking as if. So when you go back to read it, it's like, okay, it's like a reminder, right? Or you can simply burn that energy and not look back on it and just keep moving forward, right? But if you're someone that often likes to reflect on your writing and things like that, you may want to keep it just as a reminder. So you have those two options. I think that I may keep mine. um yeah, I
Can
think I
I pop
may.
in with a suggestion? Just as something I'll usually like if it's for something like this,
Mhm.
sometimes I'll actually write it and then I'll like make a photocopy and then I'll actually burn the original. I don't know, there's something about like the one that you actually write when you burn that one for me. It feels more like the ritual is complete, but then I still have the photocopy to be able to go back and reference if I'm like, hold on, wait a minute,
Mm.
I need a reminder of like the things that, I'm supposed to be focusing on. Cause sometimes I mean, you can't forget because life just be like that. But I've done that before. So one, you don't have to rewrite the whole thing because that's a lot sometimes.
Mhm.
But then you still get that like energy of like, yes, I'm watching it burn,
Yeah,
So that's just
that's so crazy because I definitely had a visualization of that earlier. So that's yeah, that's in perfect
yes,
alignment.
girl,
I
we in
probably
alignment.
Yeah, so I'll probably do that too. I did like that idea as well because I do want to keep it just so that when at towards the end of the year, right? It's like, oh my goodness, this is the energy that I said that I'm leaving behind, and I
Right,
Mhm.
literally embody that. So,
right.
yes, I love that idea. So I will definitely use that. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yes, thank you.
so I do want to leave us with a quote if that's everything. Let me just where are we? Poocha be taking me. Okay, here it is. I think this is it. Can you all see that?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, so I actually saw this quote today, and I thought it was so perfect for what we're doing. And so this is a quote by Viktor Frankl, if I'm saying that right. So he says, live as if you were living already for the second time. And, oh, typo. And if you have accepted the first time as wrongly as you are about to act now. I'm sorry, y'all. I did not realize I had those typos. That's what I get for being last minute. Um, but basically, what he mean by this quote is reflect on our actions and decisions as if we've already made the decision that we know did not serve us, right? So when we go into the new year, basically live every moment, every decision that you need to make, every move that you want to make, live it in a way that you have lived it and regret that you didn't do it. Does that make sense? Or if I explained that properly?
So like, for example, like for me, like procrastination is one thing I really want to not do. So
Mhm.
if I were following this quote, basically I would be envisioning the things that I want to accomplish for myself in 2024. And then I would also be visualizing what it would look like if I procrastinated and how I wouldn't be accomplishing those things and how I would feel like crap because I didn't get those things done because I allowed myself to be in the energy of procrastination.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that okay?
Exactly. And then that is what allows you to actually like, have the encouragement and the tenacity to make that move, right? Because it's like, damn, I already know what's gonna be the consequences of me procrastinating on this thing, right? Me not following my intuition. I already can see that if I, don't say this, how it's gonna affect me and how I'm gonna feel about that. And so once you tap into this quote's energy, we're basically going to be it should allow us to literally make the decision because we already know the negative consequences of it personally for ourselves. So yes, that's what this quote is, and I think that that's a good way for us to make sure that we are embodying the quantum leap, right? So yes, sorry about the typos, y'all. I did do this like 30 minutes before 30 minutes before we hopped on. So yeah, any questions? Any more concerns? How do you all feel about this leap? I know personally, I'm always excited for like spiritual growth, and be, you know, the first one um to cry when the experience happens, and then be the first one like to be like the next day, okay, it happens, let's go, what's next kind of energy. So how do you all feel about implementing um this quantum leap?
I'm excited because I feel like I need to hurry the fuck up. Like, excuse my French, but I'm so serious. Like, I just feel like it's just, things have been taking too long. Like, forget divine timing and all of that. Like, I really feel like I've slowed myself up because I haven't actually truly put myself in the energy of what I'm trying to embody and what I'm really trying to like bring into my life. And so it's like, not necessarily in like a regret type of way. I mean, there is some regret there, but it's just like a recognition that like I really am not fully embodied in my potential because I've just allowed things to take too long. I've allowed the procrastination to be too long, the self-doubt, the, whatever laundry list of things. But it's just like I've always felt like it doesn't need to take this long. Like I've always felt like, you know, healing and moving forward doesn't really have to take that long. It's
Yeah.
just like we draw it out because we don't necessarily know or understand how to like really position ourselves and truly like put ourselves into that new reality. And I've always felt like that where I'm like, you know what, I just feel like this is really taking a while, like longer than it really needs to. So
Mhm.
this is exciting because I feel like this is tangible like resources or like tangible what is the word I'm looking for? Tangible techniques to
Mhm.
actually like do it. And I feel like this is what I was looking for that was like in alignment with me just being like, I know there's a way to speed this up.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just excited, like not rushing it or anything, but just like
Mhm.
really bringing in that energy and making it happen in the timeline that we believe it should be happening. So I'm excited
Yes.
and I can't wait to see what comes about from all of this.
Yes, same. Definitely excited as well. And I do feel you. It's like it shouldn't take this long. I know for me, um, this year has definitely served its purpose in preparing me for next year. And, I've spoken to some of you all about, I've been in La La Land, right? For like the past couple years, just really only focusing on the spiritual aspects of me. And putting the 3D things aside, not having practicality and knowing that, okay, I need to be practical in the way that I make money. I can't just only rely on the spiritual and allow things to just come to me because that's taking too long, right? I have to have some type of masculine energy of going towards the things that I want and being consistent with it, right? And I think that this year I was able to embody consistency. I was able to see like I can be consistent. It's not anything that I lacked. It was just that I didn't know how to use my energy wisely. So now that I know how to use my energy wisely, I can literally go into next year just ready to take off, ready to implement the spiritual and the material plane together versus it being a separate thing and me just being in hermit mode and not allowing myself to not allowing myself to grow in the earthly plane. So I feel like that's what my leap is about, just putting myself in a position where I'm growing on earth versus just in the spiritual plane, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's why I'm really excited as well. So I'm definitely gonna do this tonight and then come back tomorrow ready to conjure up the new version of myself. So
Mm.
if no one else wants to share, um let's go ahead and let me stop recording. So thank you all for being here today. I am really excited for this and I can't wait to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow it's We don't have to, share any of our journal entries or anything like that, but it's really going to be just mainly focused on how we are going to begin conjuring up the new versions of ourselves and all the tools and things like that that we can actually use to help us make sure that we give ourselves some type of accountability, or just to, like we did today, know the energy ahead of time so that we're not surprised when things happen. Although there is still going to be a level of surprise because you never know how it's going to actually show up in your life. But yeah, just being able to use all of that thing, all of the resources and tools that we have to make sure that we embody the new versions of ourselves. So I'm going to stop recording. And yeah, so thank you all for being here today. I'm so grateful. And I'm really, again, excited. So I will see you all tomorrow, same time, 7.